specific legal research task I'm working on, the specific task I'm doing, fit into the larger context of the case as a whole, or the type of service we're trying to provide to our clients, so that I can tailor the work I do with that understanding in mind, instead of just going off on, some kind of a dead end or spinning my wheels. And that's what you'll learn in this clinic. The classroom component basically tries to give you an overview of the life cycle of an environmental case, so that you learn that kind of greater context in which you'll be working. So we take a hypothetical case against an oil company, and we start from the beginning of the semester and go through to the end. And we start out with researching how you would actually research the type of environmental violation that's at issue in that case, through Freedom of Information Act requests or other types of means. And then get into statutory notice, where you have to actually draft a notice letter that's required before you can bring a case under the citizen supervisions of these statutes, to drafting a complaint, to conducting kind of case management and planning, conducting discovery once you actually get into the case, getting into motions on the merits and summary judgment, doing oral arguments, negotiating a consent decree, moving for attorney's fees after it's all said and done. So we track the whole life of a lawsuit throughout the course of the semester, so that you see the big picture. And when a partner walks into your office on day one, or a supervising attorney walks into your office on day one and says, "Hi, you're welcome to the firm. I need you to draft me a set of interrogatories, get it to me tomorrow," you'll be able to say, "Oh, okay, I know what interrogatories are. I saw a set of interrogatories in my environmental law externship clinic program materials." And you'll understand a little bit how, okay, we're talking about discovery. That fits into the larger context of the case in terms of gathering evidence to support ultimately a motion for summary judgment, perhaps, or trial. And you'll understand how to ask the right questions about, okay, what are we trying to prove in this case? What is this particular discovery device supposed to accomplish? Are there other means of getting that information more effectively? Request for production of documents, request for admission, other types of questions like that. And you can actually start on day one with that type of practical understanding, and I think that really helps you develop as a professional. I mean, there's no reason to wait to start your legal career when you get out past the bar. You can start your career now and begin to develop those skills. And I think that'll give you a leg up when you're applying for jobs, and also when you get in on day one, because you'll be able to get the ground running.
Thank you. It's a very good description of clinical education in general, so thank you.
Come find me afterwards if you want. And also, Luthien Island, who is now editor-in-chief of the Environmental Law Journal, took the clinic last year and can tell you more if you want to get a student's perspective.
I'm very proud to introduce 3 students from the Criminal Litigation Clinical Program: Isla Husin, who works at the Prisoner Legal Services; Kurt Briggs, who works at the San Francisco Public Defender, even though he's a graduate; and Maya Masraza, who's had experiences in prosecution in 2 different venues. And she'll tell you about the U.S. Attorney and the local DA's office. Isla?
Like Professor Redberg said, I started entering Prisoner Legal Services last semester during the summer, and I'm not sure if I found them or they found me, but it ended up being faith, I guess. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. The law was kind of interesting to me, so I just stumbled upon this placement, and then I took the summer internship with them, and I also took a litigation clinic. And as somebody coming into the field that had no clue, I think clinic was really crucial for me to understand anything. And I stayed with the clinic this fall as well, and taking courses. And it's the really beneficial part is that you go to work and you have all these issues, and you don't know what to do with them. You don't know what somebody asks you for a 1385. You're like, I don't know what is that. I have no idea. So we would all meet, once a week during the summer, and once a week this fall too. And you come to class, and you can ask your professors, you can ask people in your class, what is this? Do you know what this is? You also get, sitting and talking with everybody. You have people from the PDs, you have people from the DAs, you have a different you could see different sides and where somebody's coming from. I didn't really know which side I wanted to be until actually I started working here as the PD. But yeah, it was really the most beneficial class I think I've taken at Golden Gate, was the externship clinic, and just getting an externship. I would suggest that to everybody. You learn so much. I don't even know how much I've learned right now, like I couldn't tell you, but you learn so much.
I'm not going to be insulted by the fact that Maya was in my 1L elective, ethics and criminal justice. I think that was the best
I
class
liked
she'd
that
ever
class,
taken
too.
until Thank you. Let's hear from Kurt and then Maya.
I'm going to stand just so everybody can see me, at the risk of not being redundant, because I pretty much agree with what everybody has said. It'll all apply to the criminal litigation clinic also. But I came to law school to make a difference, and I thought that I was going to have to wait 3 years to do that. And so what I want all of you to understand is that you can do that this summer. You can do that right away. The amount of latitude we have as law students with proper supervision is amazing. You can change lives this summer. You don't have to wait. And you're going to need that emotionally after going through your first year. You're really going to need that outlet. I saw basically two broad categories. And most of us, after 3 years of law school, we made that difference and we built an amazing resume. Some of my peers wasted their time. They didn't have the proper internships, they didn't have the proper support, they didn't know what to look for, they didn't tap the correct resources. I don't want that to happen to any of you because we're all hard workers and we all deserve to have some amazing accomplishments and make the difference we want to make. That's why the clinic is important. Okay? I had externship experiences both not in the clinic and with the clinic. And GGU has a great reputation in the community if they know we're workhorses and we're going to go there and we're there to learn something, but we're there to work hard. Professor Woodbury has an amazing reputation. When she calls once a week, she wants to hear more than you made copies all week. She knows that you have goals and that you have things you want to achieve. Part of taking advantage of the school's reputation and the systems or the program the school has in place is going to the clinic and make sure you at least do your first few externship opportunities through the clinic, because it's going to protect you. It's going to protect you from wasting your time or being exploited. Just as a side note, you know, in the 2 years I was there as a law student, alone, just with proper supervision, I got one guy out of the case where he was facing 20 years in prison. I did it all myself. Was on the news for a high-profile hate crimes case. I was only on the news for 2 seconds. But the Cron 4 ran like a 5-minute special. I emailed my family. It was awesome. I argued in court to get a felony dismissed, and my family flew up for it, and everything just went flawlessly, well, as flawlessly as it ever goes. And then the last case I had just had a tragic ending, but it was true. My client was on True TV stealing a car in a bait car operation. You know, that's relevant. It's so relevant. You can have such an amazing experience, but I never tolerated a place to waste my time. One thing I did is I utilized the clinic. And what you'll get, just in closing, from the clinics, you're going to get a lot of support, you're going to get a lot of learning, but you're also going to have a chance to debrief. You're going to be, for example, like Professor Rupper would read my emails and see if I was ready to drink myself to death or not over a case or a client. But it was always some very helpful feedback. Like, it was crucial to keeping me sane and productive and on the right track. So with that being said, I don't think there's any other way to do your first couple internships without going through the clinic, whatever clinic it is you decided.
Thank you, Kurt. Maya.
I'm going to stand as well. So I'm Maya Machada. So the first 2 semesters that I did with criminal externship were relating to such was at the U.S. Attorney's Office here in San Francisco. And I was in the criminal division first in the major crimes division, and then after they kind of reworked everything into the misdemeanor unit. And the second semester is when I was part of Professor Rutberg's criminal litigation externship program. And then recently I did the summer at the Santa Clara DA's office. Now, I know that's a little bit of a different side to it versus the defense to be the prosecution, but that's one of the major positives, as Isla said, being part of this criminal externship class is that you really do see the other side. And I've still stayed prosecution, but it's definitely amazing to see how both of it really works together. And I think having that mindset really brings you apart from other people who go into the profession. In addition to that, from what Curtis was saying, it really is huge for Golden Gate, for our reputation, at least I believe, in regards to how many of our students go into either the defense side or prosecution. And I think one of the things that they teach you here is really not just, you know, what is the answer, but more of how do I act when I don't have the answer. So, for example, at the U.S. Attorney's Office, I went in there and each student, first of all, it was wonderful because you have students from all different law schools, from all different states who come there and who just want to learn about criminal law, and they also have a civil division. And then they give you so much responsibility, and I'm not sure if this is specific to the criminal division, but I was very impressed by the amount that they trusted us with such, you know, people's lives, basically. At the U.S. Attorney's Office, we each got 20 of our own cases, and those cases, you knew the cases. You first looked at them, and we were the ones who were in charge to talk to our prosecuting attorney, our supervising attorney, and tell them, do we think that this person can be prosecuted or not? Do we have the resources? Do we actually think that they committed the crime? Then after that, you go into court and you talk to the judge and you do the arraignments and then the plea hearings and you do the sentencing. Now that's the most that they'll allow for federal court because, unless you get a little bit of leeway, because federal court is a little bit, there's a few more strings on the line. But they do give you the opportunity. For example, I had the opportunity, unfortunately could not do it because the timing came right on my final schedule to prosecute my own trial for a DUI. You know, it's giving you that huge amount of responsibility and trusting you with it. And the great thing about this class is that you could go and ask questions and say, what do I do here? You know, what's next, as has been said. And then at the Santa Clara DA's office, you go in there and maybe have a couple hours to prepare about 5 or 6 motions. And then you go into court and you have to argue them, and confidently, even though you might not be very sure of yourself. So it's just giving you the confidence, and it's really this externship that, this course that helps you get through that helps you be able to stand ahead of the pack from all the other people in different law schools. Because a lot of times they're not exactly sure what to do to think on your feet, especially in this kind of setting with this amount of responsibility.